The skies above Earth changed forever on a quiet Tuesday morning. Giant ships appeared near Pluto, moving slowly toward Earth. They came without warning. 53 massive vessels, each one bigger than the largest human cities. "We have multiple unknown objects entering the solar system," said the young officer at the space monitoring station. His voice shook as he spoke. Admiral Frank Collins rushed to the command center of Earth's defense headquarters. At 62 years old, he had spent his life preparing for this moment, though he never truly believed it would come. "Show me everything," he ordered. The main screen filled with images of the alien fleet. The ships were shaped like smooth arrowheads, their surfaces a dark blue metal that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "Have they sent any messages?" Frank asked. "None that we understand, sir," said the communications officer. "Just strange sounds and patterns." Frank made a quick decision. "Get me Lisa Martins. Now." Lisa was woken by her phone ringing at 3:47 a.m. She had been a language expert at NASA for 8 years, studying how humans might talk with aliens if they ever found any. Now they have found us. Within an hour, she sat in a secure room surrounded by computers and worried faces. The strange sounds from space played again and again as she worked to find patterns. "These aren't random," she said after several hours. "There's structure here. It's a language." The world leaders gathered in an emergency meeting. Some wanted to send weapons to space. Others thought we should try to be friendly. While they argued, Lisa worked without stopping. "I need more computing power," she told Frank on the second day. He gave her access to the most powerful computers on Earth. By the third day, Lisa had found something. "They call themselves the Dravik Collective," she told Frank and the gathered officials. "And they're evaluating us." "Evaluating for what?" someone asked. Lisa's face grew pale. "The closest translation is containment measures. I think they're deciding if we're dangerous." The alien ships continued to move closer. They passed Neptune, then Uranus. Their speed was steady. Earth had 7 days before they would arrive. News spread across the planet. Some people panicked. Others prayed. Many simply spent time with loved ones, watching the skies. Frank ordered all Earth's space weapons to be ready, though he knew they would probably be useless against ships so advanced. His real hope was Lisa. "Keep talking to them," he told her. "Find out what they want." Lisa sent message after message, trying different approaches. "We mean you no harm. We welcome peaceful contact." On the 5th day, she received a clearer response. The Dravik message translated roughly to, "Your species has potential for disruption. We must assess threat level." Frank didn't like the sound of that. "Tell them we're peaceful but will defend ourselves if attacked." By the 6th day, the alien ships had reached Mars. Earth's military forces went on highest alert. People built shelters or tried to flee to remote areas, though no place would be safe if these aliens wanted to hurt them. Then something strange happened. The Dravik fleet stopped moving. The ships arranged themselves in a pattern that military experts said looked like an attack formation. "This is it," Frank told his officers. "Whatever happens next will change human history forever." Lisa worked desperately to send one more message. "We want to understand you. Please give us a chance." No response came. The world held its breath. 72 hours had passed since first contact. The Dravik ships began to glow with energy. Instruments detected massive power building within each vessel. Frank closed his eyes briefly. "May God help us all." Then, in an instant that defied all logic, every ship simply vanished. One moment the fleet filled the space near Mars, and the next, nothing. No explosions, no warp effects, no traces left behind. The dangerous ships that had terrified Earth for almost a week were simply gone. Where did they go? Frank asked, staring at the empty screen. No one had an answer. The celebration that swept across Earth was mixed with confusion and fear. Something impossible had just happened. And deep in her gut, Lisa Martinez knew this was only the beginning. 6 months passed since the alien ships vanished. The world slowly returned to normal, but space agencies kept watching the skies. Then one day, something strange happened where the ships had disappeared. "Sir, we're picking up unusual energy readings," said the young technician at the space monitoring station. The same spot near Mars where the Dravik ships had vanished now showed strange light patterns that no one had seen before. Admiral Frank Collins called an emergency meeting. "What exactly are we looking at?" he asked the room full of scientists. "It's like the fabric of space is thin there," explained one scientist. "Something is happening that breaks the rules of physics as we know them." Frank nodded slowly. "We need someone who thinks differently. Get me Dr. Alan Winters." Alan Winters had once been a respected physicist, but 5 years ago, his theories about multiple dimensions got him laughed out of academic circles. Now he lived alone in a small house in Colorado, working on his ideas without any support. The knock on his door surprised him. 2 men in suits stood there. "Dr. Winters, your country needs you," one said. Alan laughed bitterly. "My country called me crazy." That was before giant alien ships appeared and then disappeared into nowhere. 24 hours later, Alan stood in a high-security room, looking at the data from the anomaly near Mars. "This supports my theories," he said quietly. "The ships didn't just leave. They went somewhere else, another layer of reality." Frank introduced Alan to Captain Olivia Jones. She was 36 years old with short brown hair and eyes that missed nothing. "Captain Jones will lead the expedition to investigate the anomaly," Frank explained. Olivia shook Alan's hand firmly. "I've read your work, Doctor. Crazy or not, it's our best guess at what happened." The ship they would use was called the EDS Frontier. It had been built in secret, using pieces of technology found floating in space after the Dravik disappeared. It could travel faster than any other human ship. "The mission is simple," Frank told the small crew. "Go to the anomaly, gather data, and come back. Do not take unnecessary risks." Olivia nodded. "We launch tomorrow." The trip to Mars took only 3 days with the new engines. As they approached the anomaly, Alan stared out the window with wonder. "It's beautiful," he whispered. The empty space seemed to shimmer like heat waves rising from hot pavement. Colors that had no names flashed in patterns that hurt the eyes. "Beginning data collection," Olivia announced. The ship's instruments extended toward the anomaly. Alan watched the readings appear on his screen. "This is amazing. Space itself is folded here, creating a kind of door." "A door to where?" asked one of the crew members. "I don't know yet," Alan replied. They worked for hours, gathering information about the strange phenomenon. Everything was going well until the ship suddenly shuddered. "What was that?" Olivia demanded. "We're being pulled toward the anomaly," the pilot said, fighting with the controls. Alan looked up from his instruments. "The anomaly is growing. It's reacting to our presence." The lights flickered. For a brief moment, everything around them seemed to change. The ship, the stars, even their own bodies looked different, as if seen through rippling water. Then, just as quickly, everything returned to normal. "Everyone okay?" Olivia asked, looking around. The crew nodded, shaken but unhurt. "Captain," the communications officer called out. "We received a message during that. Whatever it was." "Play it," Olivia ordered. A voice came through the speakers, full of static but clearly speaking English. "This is emergency broadcast system. Earth has fallen. Remaining survivors shoaled." The message cut off. Silence filled the ship. "That's impossible," Olivia said finally. "We just talked to Earth Control an hour ago." Everything was fine. Alan's face had gone pale. "It wasn't our Earth," he said quietly. "That message came from somewhere else. Another version of Earth in another dimension." Olivia looked at the anomaly with new understanding and fear. "We need to get this information back home. Now." As the frontier turned away from the anomaly, No one noticed the tiny flecks of strange blue material that had attached themselves to the ship's hull. While the EDS Frontier explored space, Lisa Martinez couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. She had been given access to more files about the Dravik, but certain parts were always blacked out. Why hide information now, when Earth might still be in danger? Late one night, Lisa found a strange reference in an old file. It mentioned something called Project Guardian from the 1950s. That was long before aliens had supposedly made first contact. It made no sense. Lisa needed help. She called her old friend Keith Donovan, a computer expert who knew how to find hidden information. "You want me to hack government files?" Keith asked when they met in a quiet coffee shop. He was a tall man with glasses and nervous hands. "That's very illegal, Lisa." "I know," she said quietly, "but I think they're hiding something huge. Something about Earth that the aliens discovered." Keith sighed. "Fine, but if we get caught, I'm blaming you." For 3 weeks, they worked together in Keith's apartment. His computers ran day and night, searching for any mention of Project Guardian. Finally, they found something. "Look at this," Keith said, pointing to his screen. "Project Guardian isn't just one program. It's been running for over 70 years under different names." Lisa read through the files. Her hands began to shake. This can't be right. The files showed that governments around the world had been working together in secret since the 1950s. They knew about aliens long before the Dravik arrived. But there was more. "Earth has defenses," she whispered. "Powerful ones that no one knows about." Keith nodded slowly. "According to this, we have technology that shouldn't be possible yet, way beyond what the public knows." Lisa knew she had to talk to someone in authority. She called Admiral Collins and asked for an urgent meeting. The next day, she sat across from Frank in a small, secure room with no windows. "I know about Project Guardian," she said simply. Frank's face gave nothing away. "I don't know what you're talking about." Lisa placed a folder of printed documents on the table. "Keith Donovan helped me find these. We know the truth. Earth has been hiding something, even from its own people." Frank was silent for a long moment. Then he sighed deeply. "How much do you know?" "Enough to understand we've known about aliens for decades," Lisa said. "Enough to know Earth has secret defenses." Frank nodded slowly. "What you found is just the tip of a very large and very dangerous iceberg, Lisa." He pressed a button under the table. "We need to go somewhere more secure to continue this conversation." A hidden door opened in the wall of the room. Frank led Lisa down a long hallway to an elevator that went deep underground. When the doors opened, Lisa gasped. They stood in an enormous control room filled with screens and strange technology. People in uniforms worked at stations monitoring the entire solar system. "Welcome to Protocol Zero," Frank said. "The truth is, we've been visited by 17 different alien species in the last century. Most were peaceful observers. A few were not." "Why keep this secret?" Lisa asked. "Fear and panic would destroy society," Frank explained. "But more importantly, we needed to develop our defenses without anyone knowing, even our enemies on Earth." Lisa looked around the room in wonder. "So we have weapons that can fight ships like the Dravik?" Frank shook his head. "Not exactly weapons. No, something much more interesting." He pointed to a strange device in the center of the room. It looked like a crystal globe surrounded by spinning rings. "This is why the Dravik disappeared," he said. "But we didn't expect them to vanish completely. That's never happened before." Lisa stared at him. "Before? You mean this has happened before?" "Not quite like this," Frank admitted. "The Dravik are the first to disappear entirely. That's why we sent the Frontier to investigate. But there's something special about humans, Lisa. Something other species fear." "What?" she asked. Frank smiled grimly. "That's what we need to figure out. Because if the Dravik come back, we need to be ready." The EDS Frontier returned to Earth after 2 weeks in space. Dr. Alan Winters couldn't wait to share what they had discovered. The data showed something that would change how humans understood reality forever. Captain Olivia Jones led her crew off the ship. They looked tired but excited. "Mission complete, Admiral," she said to Frank Collins, who waited for them at the landing pad. "We need to talk right away," Alan told Frank urgently. "What we found is beyond anything I expected." Frank nodded. "I have someone who needs to hear this too." He introduced Lisa Martinez, who had been waiting nervously nearby. "You're the language expert," Olivia said, recognizing Lisa. "Good. You should definitely be part of this conversation." They gathered in a secure briefing room deep underground in the Protocol Zero facility. Military leaders and scientists sat around a large table, faces serious as they waited to hear the report. Alan connected his computer to the main screen. "The anomaly where the Dravik ships vanished is a tear between dimensions," he explained. "Our universe is just one of many that exist side by side, like pages in a book." He showed them recordings from the Frontier sensors. Strange patterns of energy flowed around the spot where the fleet had disappeared. "But here's the important part," Alan continued. "The Dravik didn't create this tier. We did." The room went silent. "That's impossible," one general said. "We don't have that kind of technology." "It wasn't technology," Alan replied. "At least, not entirely." He looked at Frank. "You already know this, don't you?" Frank stood up. "It's time everyone here learned the full truth." He pressed a button, and the wall behind him slid open to reveal another room. Inside was a team of scientists working around a strange machine with many screens showing brain activity. "Humans are special," Frank explained. "Our research shows that human minds can affect reality at the quantum level. Each person's effect is tiny, too small to notice. But when billions of humans focus on the same thing at the same time, we can change reality itself." Lisa whispered, understanding now. "Exactly," Frank said. "We've known this for decades. When the Dravik threatened Earth, nearly 8 billion humans were afraid and wanted them to go away. That collective fear and desire was powerful enough to push an entire fleet into another dimension." The military leaders looked shocked. One woman stood up angrily. "Why wasn't this shared with the Joint Chiefs?" "Because it's not a weapon we can control," Frank explained. "It happens naturally in times of global crisis. Protocol Zero has been studying it since we discovered the effect during World War II." Alan showed more data on the screen. "According to our scans, humans have a unique brain structure. It allows our consciousness to slightly alter quantum probabilities. The Dravik might have detected this ability and seen it as a threat." "A threat?" Lisa asked. "How?" "Think about it," Olivia joined in. "If humans can change reality just by thinking together, what happens when our technology advances enough to focus that power?" The implications were enormous. Humans weren't just another species in the galaxy. They were reality changers. "The message we received from the other dimension makes more sense now," Alan said. "We heard an Earth that had fallen. Maybe in that reality, humans never discovered this ability. Or they discovered it too late," Frank added grimly. Lisa thought about the strange crystal device she had seen in the Protocol Zero control room. "That machine in the control center, it measures this ability, doesn't it?" Frank nodded. "We call it the resonance monitor. It tracks the collective human consciousness. When the Dravik disappeared, it recorded the biggest spike we've ever seen." "So what do we do now?" Olivia asked the question everyone was thinking. Frank's face was serious. "We prepare. Because based on what you found in that other dimension, the Dravik aren't gone forever. They'll find a way back. And next time, they'll know exactly what we can do." Alan looked troubled. "There's something else you should know," he said quietly. "Something happened to our ship near the anomaly. We brought something back with us. Something that wasn't there before." Alan Winters stared at the blue specks under the microscope. They had found these tiny particles attached to the hull of the EDS Frontier after returning from the anomaly. They weren't like any material known on Earth. "They're alive," he told the others gathered in the lab. "Or at least, they respond to stimuli in ways that suggest life." Frank Collins frowned. Are they dangerous? I don't think so, Alan replied. But they're definitely not from our dimension. They're like pieces of somewhere else. Lisa Martinez had been thinking about the message they had received from the other Earth. If the Dravik weren't destroyed but just moved to another dimension, could we follow them? Could we find out what happened to that other Earth? The room went quiet. It was a dangerous idea. Theoretically, yes, Alan said finally. The anomaly is still there. It's like a door that's slightly open. With the right push, we might be able to go through. Olivia Jones had been listening carefully. I'll volunteer to lead a mission, she said. The frontier has already been exposed to the anomaly once. We might have better luck going back. Frank shook his head. It's too risky. We don't know what's on the other side. That's exactly why we need to go, Olivia argued. If the Dravik are planning to return, we need information. Intelligence wins wars, Admiral. After 3 days of debate, Protocol Zero approved the mission. But this time, they would prepare differently. We know humans can affect reality with their minds, Alan explained to the crew. So we're going to train you to focus your thoughts. For 2 weeks, the crew of the Frontier learned meditation techniques. They practiced thinking in unison, focusing on simple goals. The resonance monitor showed their combined mental energy growing stronger each day. It's like a muscle, Lisa told them. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. They also equipped the ship with new sensors designed to detect dimensional variations, and they added a special device that Alan called a beacon, something that could help them find their way back home. Finally, the day of launch arrived. The crew of 12 people boarded the Frontier. Olivia took the captain's chair, looking confident despite the danger ahead. Remember, Frank told them over the comm system, your mission is to observe only. Get information and return. Do not engage with anything or anyone you encounter. Understood, Admiral, Olivia replied. We'll be back in 2 weeks. The journey to the anomaly took 3 days. As they approached, the strange shimmer of bent space appeared before them. Activating dimensional shift systems, Alan announced from his station. He had insisted on going along, saying his theories might need adjustment during the mission. The crew began their mental focus exercise. Together, they pictured pushing through the barrier between worlds, finding the place where the Dravik had gone. The ship shuddered. Lights flickered. Everyone felt a strange sensation, like being pulled in all directions at once. It's working, Alan shouted over the noise of straining engines. The view outside changed. Stars shifted position. Colors looked wrong somehow, as if the very rules of light had changed. Then everything stabilized. They were through. Where are we? Olivia asked, looking at the navigation screen. Same physical location, Alan replied. Near Mars orbit, but definitely not our Mars. The red planet before them looked different. Its surface showed artificial structures, cities or bases of some kind. Incoming transmission, called the communications officer. A voice came through, speaking English but with a strange accent. Unknown vessel, you have entered Dravik-controlled space. Identify yourselves immediately. Before they could respond, another transmission broke through. Earth vessel, this is the Resistance. The Dravik monitor all communications. Do not respond. Follow these coordinates if you want to survive. A set of numbers appeared on their navigation system. What do we do, Captain? Asked the pilot. Olivia hesitated only a moment. Follow those coordinates, but be ready to activate the beacon at my command. If this goes badly, we need to get home. As the Frontier changed course, a small ship appeared from behind Mars' moon. It approached quickly. Whoever sent those coordinates is coming to meet us, Alan said. The small ship came alongside them. Through the windows, they could see the pilot. It was a human. The small ship led the Frontier to a hidden base inside an asteroid. When they docked, Olivia decided to meet the other humans with just Alan and 2 security officers. Be careful, she told the rest of the crew. Keep the engines ready. If anything seems wrong, use the beacon and go home." The four of them walked through the airlock into the asteroid base. A group of people waited for them. They looked tired and worn, like they had been fighting for a long time. A tall woman with short gray hair stepped forward. "My name is Susan Harper. Welcome to what's left of the human resistance. I'm Captain Olivia Jones. This is Dr. Alan Winters. We're from another Earth." Susan nodded. "We know. We've been monitoring dimensional energy shifts for years. The Dravik used them to travel between worlds." She led them to a small room with maps and plans on the walls. About 20 people worked at computers or talked in small groups. "This is all that's left?" Alan asked quietly. "In this solar system, yes," Susan replied. "The Dravik conquered Earth 50 years ago. Some humans escaped to other planets, but most were captured or killed." "How did it happen?" Olivia asked. Susan's face darkened. "They came suddenly, like they did in your world. But here, they didn't vanish. They attacked without warning and took control of everything within days." Alan leaned forward. "Did humans in your world ever discover their ability to affect reality with their minds?" Susan looked surprised. "What are you talking about?" Alan explained what they had learned about human consciousness and its effect on quantum reality. Susan and the other resistance fighters listened with growing excitement. "That explains so much," Susan said when he finished. "The Dravik have been collecting humans with strong mental abilities. They call them reality shapers. We never understood why. They're afraid of what humans might become," Alan said. "If we learn to use this power consciously, we could be stronger than them." Suddenly, alarms started blaring throughout the base. A young man ran into the room. "Dravik patrol ships approaching. They must have tracked the dimensional jump." Susan grabbed a weapon. "You need to get back to your ship. Now." They ran back toward the docks. Explosions shook the asteroid as Dravik weapons hit the outer surface. "We need to share what we know with your Earth," Susan said as they ran. "The Dravik are planning to invade multiple dimensions. They've built technology that can break through the barriers." When they reached the ships, Susan handed Olivia a small device. "This contains everything we know about the Dravik. Their weaknesses, their plans, everything. Take it back to your world." "Come with us," Olivia offered. Susan shook her head. "My place is here, with my people. But you can save your Earth if you warn them in time." They said quick goodbyes and boarded their ships. As the frontier pulled away from the asteroid, they saw Dravik ships surrounding it, firing weapons that tore through the rock. "Activate the beacon," Olivia ordered. "Get us home." Alan pressed the controls. The beacon hummed to life, creating the energy pattern that would guide them back to their own dimension. The ship shuddered as they approached the dimensional boundary. Everything blurred for a moment, then cleared. They were back in their own reality. "We made it," Alan said with relief. But their relief was short-lived. As they approached Earth, they saw something was wrong. Strange energy patterns flickered in the atmosphere. The communication system picked up panicked messages from around the world. "What's happening?" Olivia asked as they made contact with Protocol Zero. Frank's voice came through, tense and worried. "Get back here as fast as you can. Something followed you home." When they landed, they found the base in chaos. Frank met them at the dock, his face grim. "Reality tears are appearing all over the planet," he explained as they hurried to the control room. "We're seeing glimpses of other worlds through them, worlds the Dravik have conquered." On the main screen, they could see footage from around Earth, strange windows opening in the air, showing alien landscapes or burning cities. People were panicking. "It's starting," Alan said. "The invasion we feared." Frank nodded. "The resonance monitor is going crazy. The collective human consciousness is destabilized by fear and confusion. That's weakening the dimensional barriers," Alan realized, "making it easier for the Dravik to break through." As if to confirm his words, a massive tear opened in the sky above New York City. Through it came the largest Dravik ship they had ever seen. The invasion had begun. 4 members of the Frontier's crew had fallen into strange comas after returning from the other dimension. They lay in the medical bay, eyes moving rapidly under closed lids as if dreaming intensely. Their brain activity is off the charts, the doctor told Olivia. It's like they're awake, but somewhere else. Olivia sat beside one young crew member, watching his face twitch. She had been visiting them daily for a week while outside. The world fell deeper into chaos. Alan rushed into the room. Olivia, I think I figured something out about the coma patients. What is it? She asked, standing quickly. They're not unconscious, Alan explained excitedly. Their minds are caught between dimensions. They can see both realities at once. This was huge news. If true, these crew members might provide valuable information about the Dravik invasion. Can we communicate with them? Olivia asked. I think so, Alan replied. I've been working on a device that might help. While Alan worked on his communication device, Frank Collins and Protocol Zero were fighting a losing battle against the invasion. Reality tiers had appeared on every continent. Dravik ships emerged from the largest tiers, dropping smaller vessels that began taking control of major cities. Conventional weapons did little against the advanced alien technology. Missiles and fighter jets were swatted from the sky like flies. In the Protocol Zero headquarters, Frank called an emergency meeting with Lisa Martinez and the remaining leaders. Our last option is Operation Awakening, he said grimly. We need to tell the world the truth about human abilities. Some leaders objected. The public will panic even more. They're already panicking, Lisa argued. But right now, their fear is making things worse by weakening the dimensional barriers. If we tell them about their power, they might be able to use it. Frank nodded. Lisa is right. We need to teach people to focus their thoughts, not scatter them in fear. The vote was close, but Operation Awakening was approved. Within hours, Protocol Zero took control of global communication networks. Frank appeared on screens worldwide. Citizens of Earth, he began. What I'm about to tell you will sound impossible, but it's the truth. Humans have a unique ability to change reality with our minds. While Frank explained, Lisa worked with language experts to create simple words and phrases that could help people focus their thoughts. They needed something that would work across all languages and cultures. Keep it basic, she told her team. 3 words that anyone can remember and understand. Meanwhile, Alan had completed his device. It looked like a metal helmet with wires connecting to a computer. He carefully placed it on the head of one coma patient. This should allow us to hear what they're experiencing, he told Olivia. He turned on the machine. At first, there was just static. Then a voice came through, one of their crew members speaking as if from far away. I can see them, the Dravik fleet. They're gathering more ships from other dimensions, thousands of them. Olivia leaned closer. Can you tell us anything about their weaknesses? They're afraid of human minds working together. They have technology to block it, devices on their ships that disrupt human thought patterns. This was valuable information. Olivia immediately contacted Frank. Across the world, people were responding to Frank's message in different ways. Some thought it was a hoax. Others tried to follow the simple meditation instructions that were being broadcast. Small groups gathered in parks, schools, and community centers to practice focusing their thoughts together. The resonance monitor showed small spikes of energy as people began to try. It's not enough, Frank said, watching the monitor. The collective energy is growing, but too slowly. Lisa had been studying the device Susan had given them from the alternate Earth. I think I know how to amplify the effect, she said. The Resistance found a way to boost human mental energy using the Dravik's own technology against them. As she explained her idea, a massive tear opened in the sky above New York. The largest Dravik ship yet emerged, a flagship nearly 5 miles long. From its bottom, A beam of light shot down directly at United Nations headquarters. The final battle for Earth was about to begin. The Dravik flagship hovered over the United Nations building, its massive shadow covering the city below. Smaller ships surrounded it, creating a ring of alien technology above the world's most important meeting place. People worldwide watched on their screens as a beam of light from the flagship created a hole in the roof of the UN building. A strange sphere floated down through the opening. Inside the building, world leaders had gathered for an emergency session. They watched in fear as the sphere landed in the center of the General Assembly Hall. It opened like a flower, revealing a tall figure inside. The Dravik overseer was twice the height of a human. Its skin was blue-black, like the ships it commanded. It had 4 arms and a head with no visible eyes. Just smooth skin where eyes should be. Humans, it spoke in a voice that somehow everyone understood. Your resistance ends now. Miles away in the Protocol Zero facility, Frank, Lisa, Alan, and Olivia watched the broadcast. They had gathered the recovered crew members and a team of scientists for humanity's final stand. It's time, Frank said. Begin Operation Awakening. Lisa activated the global broadcast system. People of Earth, she said, her face appearing on screens everywhere. Remember the 3 words we taught you. Focus, unite, push. Say them together now. Think them together. Across the planet, people began to repeat the simple mantra. Some did it with doubt, others with desperate hope. In homes, shelters, and gathering places, the word spread. Focus, unite, push. At the UN, the Dravik overseer sensed something happening. Your mental tricks will not work, it said. We have prepared for this. The alien touched a device on its arm. All around Earth, people felt a pressure in their heads, making it hard to concentrate. They're blocking us, Alan said, watching the resonance monitor's readings drop, just like the coma patients warned. Olivia looked at the crew members who had recovered from their dimensional comas. You've seen both realities. You know how to focus. Can you lead us? The crew nodded. They joined hands and began to concentrate, pushing through the Dravik's mental interference. At Protocol Zero, Keith Donovan had been working with Alan on a special device. The quantum resonance network is ready, he announced. It should amplify any mental energy we generate. They activated the device. Lights dimmed across the facility as it drew power. Focus, unite, push. The words continued to spread. The resonance monitor began to show small spikes, then larger ones. People were breaking through the Dravik interference. It's not enough, Frank said tensely. The flagship is too well protected. Olivia made a quick decision. I'm going up there, she said. Their blocking technology has a limited range, if I can get close enough with a team. It's too dangerous, Frank objected. We don't have a choice, Olivia replied. She gathered a small team, including the recovered crew members. Their unique experience had given them stronger mental abilities. They took a small, fast aircraft designed for the upper atmosphere. As they approached the flagship, Dravik fighters moved to intercept them. Keep focusing, Olivia told her team. Focus, unite, push. Their combined mental power created a bubble of protection around their craft. Dravik weapons fired but seemed to slide around them. They reached the flagship and found a way inside through a maintenance hatch. Moving quickly through the alien corridors, they headed for the central chamber where the overseer controlled the blocking device. Meanwhile, around the world, the number of people joining the mental push grew. The resonance monitor showed waves of energy building like nothing they had seen before. In the UN building, the Dravik overseer suddenly stiffened. Impossible, it said. You cannot be there. On the flagship, Olivia and her team had reached the central chamber. The overseer was connected to the ship through some kind of technology, able to be in 2 places at once. Why do you hunt us across dimensions? Olivia demanded. Because you are dangerous, the overseer replied. Humans are reality shapers. In every dimension where you evolve unchecked, You eventually rewrite existence itself. So you conquer worlds before they become threats, Olivia said. We preserve the stability of reality. The overseer insisted. On Earth, the mantra continued. Focus, unite, push. The resonance monitor showed a massive spike of energy. Humanity wasn't just pushing the Dravik away. They were reshaping the dimensional boundaries. Olivia felt the change coming. You made one mistake, she told the overseer. You taught us what we truly are. Light flooded the flyship, the UN building, and every reality tear around Earth. The Dravik ships didn't simply vanish this time. They were sealed away as the dimensional walls were strengthened.